A new flavor for your ear. Epic Spotlight. Putting the spotlight on positive goings on the real people that have chosen a real path. The who's, the whys, and the hows are being shared and given to you.
And we're back, and we got another one. But before we get going, we got to take care of some housekeeping notes. This episode today is sponsored by Epic Mortgage. Whether you're buying, investing, or refinancing, call Epic today. That's 708-905-5300. That's 708-905-5300. It's your dreams, your goals. Let's plan together. Now on with the show. Today we have Debbi DiMaggio, a leading California real estate expert who seamlessly blends luxury market insight with a passion for technology, sustainable living, and modern design. She helps clients from the East Bay to Los Angeles create homes that support healthier, more intentional living, especially during major life transitions like divorce, empty nesting, relocation, or downsizing. Debbi also brings a wellness-centered approach to real estate, introducing clients to healthy home innovations that elevate everyday well-being. Beyond real estate, she is an author, educator, and a host of Mastering the Art of Success, where she explores the intersections of lifestyle, wellness, business, and personal growth. Her upcoming book, The Mindset in Motion Method to Conquer Your Goals, offers a powerful, actionable path for turning intention into confident action. Welcome, Debbi.
Thank you so much. Listening to my bio, I definitely have a split personality. I should focus on one of them, not all 10.
Hey, that's what you have to do in this market. So I understand. Thanks for coming on. I wanted you to start off by taking me back to the beginning of you getting into real estate and just, what got you started?
All right. Well, interesting question. The only thing I knew I did not want to do when I was growing up and into my college and after college years was real estate. My father was in real estate. And now looking back, it was different. He was tied to a landline. He was tied to an office or his home because of the phone. So now that I've said it so many times, I realize what was so difficult. Now life is different. But, he was very tied to his work. He worked all the time. And so then when I was 25, I tried a few different jobs and nothing really felt like that was me. And I didn't know what it was. I thought when I graduated from Berkeley, there would be some, this is what you're supposed to do in life. And sure. That really never happened. So at 25, I was pretty bummed and I was like, what am I going to do? And so I wrote down 10 things, and a few of them were I wanted to help others. I wanted to do something with a beginning, a middle, and an end. I did not want a boss. I wanted to meet different people from other cultures and just continually meet people. I didn't want a 9-to-5 type of job. I wanted to be out and about, and I wanted homework. I wanted the job to be something that wasn't just when I was in the office. It was something that was part of me. So lo and behold, that turned into real estate. I started in rentals in San Francisco. And that was really great because I was constantly meeting people. There was a beginning and, we'd meet an owner and then we'd get a tenant and then we'd put it together and there was a closing. So there was that completion, which I like, feeling like you finished something. And I was constantly meeting people from all over. It was so fun. And then later got into sales when we moved from San Francisco to the East Bay where we raised our family. And I wouldn't do anything else. It's been 35 years. So although I do all those other things, I've been practicing real estate with my husband, Adam, for 35 years.
That's awesome. No, it's a great story. And sometimes it's so important to meet people within the industry because they understand,
yes.
The walk of life. They understand the hours that are put in. What initially inspired your, really unique blend of luxury homes and wellness designed homes? How did that all kind of start?
Every year, I'd say things just evolve. Someone wrote an article years ago, and they named it Accidentally with Purpose. As they were interviewing me, I said, well, I kind of fell into charity work. Someone asked me to help on this charity when I was a new mom, and I did, and I loved it. So I continued on doing it. And when I have something in my mind and I want to learn about it, I have to share it. And that's kind of where the coaching comes in. I want to help others become better and others figure out what it is. I just have that innate. My dad is like that too. We just want to help and educate and inspire. And so the beauty at any age came in during COVID. It was actually not like you'd think, like beauty, skin. I mean, yes, skin deep beauty is good too, but it started out because my mother-in-law was in her 80s and she was living her life to her fullest. She had community. She moved to a new place, started from scratch in her 80s. She took up golf. She was doing water aerobics, but she had this huge community around her and she took part in it. I notice with my older clients now, there's a lot of people have passed, right? So they don't have as much community, but community is so important. And when you lose that, that's when the dementia and your zest for life just falls off. I mean, I have a friend who's 96 and she's like healthy and she's like, just take me, I'm ready. Like and she really doesn't have community. So it started with that. And then the book, I ended up publishing the Beauty at Any Age book. And it does talk about little things you can do, from eating healthy and exercise to all the different things that you can do to remain healthy and vibrant.
Why is that so important to you?
I think it's when people are feeling better, they're kinder, they're more successful for themselves, they're more productive. I think there's clearly a lot of depression in the world, and there's a lot of people who are unhappy. But if you feel good, you're going to radiate that, and it's contagious.
Awesome.
We certainly need that in this world.
Yes, we do. I'm not going to complain. I get it. How has hosting Mastering the Art of Success really shaped your perspective on lifestyle and such?
Well, it is definitely hitting the bucket about meeting people from other cultures and meeting people every day and learning and being inspired. It started out the first year as mastering the art of real estate because that's what I do and that's what I know. And then when I switched production companies and was introducing myself, as you just did, he said, "You're not just a realtor, you do a lot of other things." I go, "I know, but I don't know how." That's what I do as a profession and a lifestyle. And so then I decided, because other people from, when people connect us like they did with us to be on podcasts, when it was Mastering the Art of Real Estate, I was still having other business people want to be on my podcast. And really what I talked about in Mastering the Art of Real Estate and the same Mastering the Art of Success, my podcast is for anyone with a service, product, or brand. We all kind of do the same thing. You do the same thing as I do. We need to build relationships. We need clients. We need to help people. We need to educate people. And so it's very similar. So when I pivoted, I was fortunate to have as my first guest to launch Mastering the Art of Success was Bob Berg, who's a well-known author of Giver's Gain. And It was just so wonderful that he said yes, and he kicked off the next episode. But I learned so much by interviewing my guests. I just can't imagine that people wouldn't take away just the nuggets that I get every week when I host my podcast. It's incredible.
No, I agree. It's amazing. That's like the extra bonus that you didn't anticipate.
Right.
It's just, oh man, let me write that down. That's good information. So no, I appreciate that you sharing that. As an educator like you are, you're coaching people. What are the common lessons that you always seem to continue to always have to teach people about? What is the one common thing that you see?
It's so basic, and people don't do it. You've got to if you want to make action, you want to implement, you need to put it in your calendar. If it's not in your calendar, and I hear this time and time again, I always ask my guests, what is the one app or tool or platform you use? And they all had some sort of planning. I think one of the people that I spoke to the other day, she said, if it's not in my Google Calendar, then it doesn't exist and it doesn't happen. And that is so important. And when I sit with our new agents and I going over what they need to do, it's put it down. Even if it's a thing like going on tour to look at the homes every Monday and Thursday, if it's in your calendar from 10 to 1, you're probably going to do it. If it's not, of course, 1,000 things are going to come up. So I would say that's one of the most important things I don't see people doing. And then time evaporates.
Yeah, time is what? You break it down, you only probably have about 6 to 8 hours, after the family, the eating and the sleeping and all that stuff. So organization, it sounds like organization is critical.
Yes.
Can you share just a little bit about this new book that's coming? What is kind of the goal of the book, and what can readers expect to get from the book?
Right. So when I set out to launch the book, well, I have to tell you how I got there. So it's called The Mindset in Motion. And I'm highlighting a method I created called the Mindset in Motion method. It's about moving forward. It's going into action, even if you don't know where you're going. And it's about conquering your goals. When I set out to write the book, I wasn't planning on writing a fifth book. I was thinking, okay, last year I ran the LA Marathon. This year I've written books in the past. This year I'm going to do a TED Talk. So I started taking a course on that. And then as I said, God, I have to have clarity. And as I started writing and writing and writing and writing and trying to figure out what that top 15 minutes would be, I had so many different things I wanted to talk about. And then I said to myself after all that writing, oh my gosh, I've got to write another book because it needs to be so clear before I can speak something. I'm not a professional speaker, so it's like I really need to have really good clarity. So I put the TED Talk aside and I ended up launching into writing the book. And it's about and I was also considering writing on the empty nest because that was another phase of my life that started the original books. But the Mindset in Motion book is 5 steps, and it's how to conquer your goals. So I reverse engineered all of my goals that I had achieved, and I tested it to these 5 steps. And so everything I did broke down into this method. And so I'll give you the 5 steps. So the first one is you have to have a goal or a dream.
Mm-hmm.
So identify what that is. Can't just be just random. You have to pick something. You have to believe it. You don't have to like start panicking. How am I going to achieve it? Just believe that you can do it. Then you have to internalize it, whether that's vision boarding or journaling or whatever it is. You've got to just really take ownership of that. But again, don't worry about how you're going to get there. Then you have to share it, but only share it with supportive people. And I'll just pop that into the frame of when I ran the LA Marathon last year. It wasn't like, oh, I want to run the marathon. It happened because something my son had said about wanting to challenge himself, and I didn't know what that meant. And and then I ran this through the 5 steps. So I didn't really know how I was going to get there, but I was going to do it on mindset alone, just because I wanted to prove that after I read this book and I saw what this person had gone through, I'm like, I have none of those things. Everything's pretty together, I think, and I'm just going to do it on mindset. And so the first thing was the marathon. The second thing was I believed I could do it because my nickname's the droid and I'd never say no. And I always follow through. So again, this is all part of me and then has gone into the book. No is not an option. I always complete what I start. It's just not negotiable in my life. And then I internalized it, right? I was really believing it. And I was really just, I was reading books, but no physical training so much. I did a few races, but nothing long, nothing over a half marathon. And then, and not often. And then sharing it with supportive people is super important. Now I was turning 60 and I hadn't been training, and people would know that. So I didn't want to get all psyched up and have people like, oh my God, you're going to be 60. No way. How are you going to do that? So when I say share with supportive people, you don't want those naysayers telling you, oh, you can't do that. Yes, right. You could do what you want. And so about a week before, I told my husband, you got to come to LA with me. I'm going to run the LA Marathon. And he knows me, so he didn't question. And so I said, I don't know what I'm going to need. I really don't know what's going to happen, how I'm going to feel. I literally know nothing. I'm like, feel good. I'm just going to do it. So anyway, and then the activation part was, for me, it was really about reading. And I actually was diving into books on Navy SEALs and military because they're so trained. And I was just like, there's people go in as normal human beings, but they come out as like these superheroes. So I watched all kinds of things on that and read books but it was and listened to tapes, but it was on mindset. It wasn't on me out there, pounding the pavement, running these long. And then I did it. I crossed the finish line and my kids were shocked. People were shocked. No one believed that I did it. Now I have the medal to prove it. So I know I did it. But now even myself a year later is like, did I really do that?
Amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you. So it could be for anything. The book could be for anyone going through a divorce, anyone wanting to kick a habit, anyone wanting to move through an empty nest or whatever it is, a health issue. It could be anything they want to, and they can use that method.
Oh, that's so awesome. It reminded me of David Goggins, just having that.
Well, that was the book. I did
Mm.
not know who he was when I started listening
Ah,
to Audible. So you've read his book, and
yes.
he came from this awful, awful life, and he kept going. I'm like, if that guy who was 300 pounds, maybe more, who was vacuuming
Mhm.
cockroaches, who had a horrible parent, like there's went through Navy SEALs, I think twice, like broken shins. I go, I
Yes.
have nothing to complain about. This is possible. Well, he was the one, and I write about him in the book just because, and I didn't know who he was when I told my husband and my son I was reading his book. They're like, oh, yeah, he's really famous. And I didn't know anything. But his story just was like, if he can do that, frickin', I can do anything.
No, no, that's great. Yeah, no, he's inspired many hundreds of thousands of people, and it's an amazing story. So I can only imagine how that helped you get through, and it's just incredible because obviously we think physical. You
Yeah.
talk about marathon, 26 miles. It's like physical, but it's the mental that you can do it. You have to
Yeah.
believe.
And I was talking to myself. I'm like, what the heck did you do? But you're not stopping now. About on like the 17th mile, I'm like, I am not done.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing. Credit to you. I don't know. I don't think my mindset's there. Yeah, to do something like that. That's amazing.
And I didn't say with the last part of the method, I said share with supportive people, and then you have to activate. And that's when you bring in mentors, coaches, therapists, whatever it is you need, you activate. And that's where the work comes in. I find in my coaching, I can get them through most of the steps, but when it comes to activate, it's like, that's you. I can't activate for you. And that's
Mm.
where people fall short, I would say, on the
Do,
activation.
do you think the activation comes from internal or from external?
I think both for
Okay.
sure. Yeah, no, like get mentors, get coaches, like the athlete I talk about, the soccer player, blanking on his name right now, but he's like number one in the world. And he has,
Messy.
yes, and has so many coaches, like every kind of coach, like, I don't know, he probably has 15 coaches. So he has a coach for everything.
Wow.
So it's okay to have coaches. That's what makes him, I mean, he has to perform, but he is getting the help of all these professionals. So, and in real estate, I say the same thing to our agents. I go, you don't have to know everything. You just need to know how to find the answer. And don't say you don't know how, because that really burns me. It's like you can ask and we'll find an answer, or we'll get the person who will find the person or help for your client that's needed. You don't need to know everything. You just need to be resourceful.
Awesome. No, I mean, definitely in our realm of mortgages, real estate, we have to find solutions. I mean, we're
Yes,
problem solvers. That's what we
exactly.
do. You talked about, and I like this. I share about this a lot as well. You guide many clients through major life transitions, and I wanted to see, do you notice a pattern with, divorce or death, or what are types of things that you see just going through these life changing events?
I think what happens is literally because I'm visual, and I didn't think about this until you said it just now or you asked the question. I feel like people just hit a wall. They just get as far as they can, and they just get like, they just like literally hit a wall, and they're kind of paralyzed. I helped a couple of people during COVID. One of them, she had been trying to write a book for 20 years. I mean, she was an English major. She had worked on this book. She had the whole story up. She had started it so long ago. It was when you'd print stuff out, and she would paste it to the wall, and there was no internet, Google Docs or anything. And I said, I'm going to help you finish that book. She is now on her second book, but she couldn't get out of her own way. People either hit a wall or just can't go around that wall. So we got her to publish two books now. And then another person, I mean, I understand this person. She had lost her sister, um, it was probably suicide, not overdose, or it was not accidental. I think she figured out. So it was her close sister. And then another person was hit head on. Her best friend was hit head on in a car
Mm.
collision. And of course, that's pretty hard to come out of, but we worked together, and just having that support, and just being accountable to having you be accountable to me, let's say, and I'm accountable to you to make you move through it. It was pretty incredible to watch her grow, and to get beyond that. Obviously, she'll never get beyond it, but she just kind of got moving and started doing other things and got involved in some things she didn't know how to do, and things she didn't even know really existed for her. Sometimes people don't even know they're an option. So
Sure.
you have to open it up. Yeah.
It's something, and I want to transition more into the homes, obviously, that you're really kind of designing. How do wellness forward features in a home, like how does it increase a home's value? Let's just say all this, some of the wellness things that you're doing from a home perspective. How would that actually help increase values?
Yeah. I don't know. I wouldn't say that it's all there yet. I think people, like, every year there's people are into new things, whether it's a fancy
Sure.
outdoor kitchen or, whatever it is that they want. A media used to be a media room or whatever. Only so every year I said I'd do something, whether it was writing books or launching a podcast or running the marathon. So it's actually only been in the last 6 months I've immersed myself into biohacking and reverse aging. And so I'll give you a couple of the healthy components for a home that I'm only just starting to educate people about. So it's really so for me, it's about educating, not so much I'm saying, put this in your home, you're going to make more money. For me, it's
Got it.
from my heart. It's coming for me to educate you. You can do what you want with it. But the first thing is, hopefully you don't hear it over there. It's an ozone air purifier for your home. A friend of mine who I'm working with, she said her sister had like a dog and a cat, and her home just had a lot of dust, and she was using her inhaler like 16 times a day. Once she got the air purifier, she didn't have to get rid of the pets, which she thought she was going to have to get rid of. And she stopped after a couple of days. She stopped having to use her inhaler. So that story was pretty powerful for me. And we know, especially here in California, with all the fires we've had and stuff.
Sure.
We had a little one, but not a good one. So this one is a really good. It covers a lot of surfaces. And then the other thing is you're going to start hearing it now that I mention it, but grounding, how important, we all know how important sleep is. And whether sleep for an athlete or sleep for any human being is so important. It's hard to get, good, solid sleep. So I've just ordered a grounding bed. So you can either buy, your mattress should be changed every 7 years. Most of us don't do that. And so if it's time to do a new mattress, then you can get the grounding mattress. My mattress is pretty new, so I'm getting a grounding topper, and it plugs into the charge in your home. So grounding is important, but we can't all go out barefoot, and especially in Chicago, and go out barefoot and walk in nature, right? That's
Right.
the best way to get grounding. But the second best would be a mattress or a topper, and it's plugged in, and that when you plug it in, it goes down into the ground. And so it's a mattress topper that helps you ground. So that's one of the other things that's really great. And then the water, I just got a water filter for my shower. I usually take 2-minute showers. I'm just kind of in and out and fast. And now with the new shower filter, it's incredible. And I don't know why, but it just feels better. I know it is better because it's taking all the toxins out of our waters. And then the other one I should get a whole house filter, but I'm going to do the underwater filter for living water, because as you may know, we have a lot of pharmaceuticals that come through our faucets and all the bad toxins that come through our faucets. I've been using a hydrogen water bottle since I learned about it in the last couple months, and the water tastes smoother, tastes better, goes down easier. I don't have to put stuff in it because it's just cleaner and smoother. I've tested it with a few skeptical friends, and they're like, "Oh my!" I did the taste test, and they're like, "Oh my God!" It's called H2 Fuel. And then the water filter to, in the kitchen to clean vegetables and just to use as drinking water. So those are I'm really into that now. And I've been watching a lot of videos, and the science is there. And so I
Sure.
will start educating clients about that and offering it. So you could go to healthytex.com and put in welcome 5. If you want to look at there's a lot more than that.
So, I mean, obviously, these are wellness featured items that go in homes, may or may not necessarily increase a value per se as of today, but these are things that people down the road would be looking for. Hey, do you have these items in your house?
Right. Absolutely. I mean, it's just all about, I just want people to feel good. And, I don't know, it feels good to share. People always say, you don't get paid to do whatever it is. And I said, I just want to share my knowledge. And it always comes back in some way.
Sure. Giver's gain.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Bob.
Hey, so what other trends are you noticing just in California's luxury markets? I'm just curious as a
Yeah.
fan of California. So what do you see out there?
Oh my God, the last couple of years have been crazy between the wars and the interest rates and the political economy and just political market, everything. So it was weird. So the beginning of the year, super slow. Some homes come on and sell. Some homes don't sell. Some homes get taken off the market, which is unusual because for the last, I don't know, 30 years, we've been living in this California market where there's always multiple offers. Homes come on the market on, let's say, a Monday or a Thursday. They're open on a Saturday, Sunday, and then offers are like on a Tuesday. And that's how it was going for so long. And then things started to change with the way life has been. And so weird, just in November, usually is a very quiet month for us. I feel like something's changing in November, not only myself, but the title companies who represent lots of different agents and buyers and sellers. The market just got really busy in November. So
Mm,
we're just closing two now. I'm waiting to close two deals right now, Christmas, which is kind of unheard of. And we just
sure.
closed one last week on the 18th. And that house was a luxury home in Piedmont, and that house had multiple offers on it. It was a completely remodeled, reinvented home, not torn down, but they significant. And so that house did have multiple offers, did go five or 600 over asking, 600,000 over asking.
Sure.
Um, and that closed on December 18th. So I feel that I think people have just been waiting for something good to happen for so long. Rates are
Hmm.
coming down a little. You'll be able to tell us that more. But I think people are kind of like, I got to get back to living. And whether you're buying a house to raise a family or scaling down because you can't take all the stairs anymore, or whatever you're doing. But one of the things when I'm talking to sellers about selling, they're like, what's going on with the market? Well, there are people like you and he was like, oh, I go, what's your interest rate? 3%. I'm like, there's people like you who are sitting on such a low rate. Like, why would you try to move up? You're not going to be able to move up. Your payment's going to be, so much more. And then some people not wanting to move. Where am I going to move? And then I'm going to get a smaller house than I have because the rates were so low that the inventory is tight because of that. So we
Sure.
always have a pretty tight inventory in our areas.
Definitely. I was curious as you were talking. It's just how do you meet people nowadays? I mean,
I know.
are you networking? Are you still going to events and that's how you meet people? How do you strike that first
Well,
conversation?
because I've been in 35 years. Number one, there's some referrals and there's people, people know us. I still market so people see. I mean, once you stop marketing and people don't see you, then you're gone. You still have to be present. I still send a newsletter. I still, do open houses. I still do the basics. But I'm also a year ago, I started BNI, Business Networking International, which is so cool because instead of like how I used to do it, oh, you go to an event here or there. This time now I'm going to a meeting on a Wednesday and we're all there to help one another. And we do our 45-second pitch and we're all there to refer one another. So it's very targeted and great. It feels good because your public speaking is getting better and you want to help the other person. And so, I'm always number one of the giving of the referrals.
That's awesome. I was in BNI for 10 years, so I do understand.
Yeah, yeah.
I get it. I get it. Hey, so as we wrap this up, I'm just curious. I wrote down educator, realtor, author. You have all these things going on. So how do you actually align your fitness and your wellness and just stay grounded? How do you manage all these things?
Yeah. Well, I'm an early riser. I've always been an early riser, just not as early as I am now with kitties. The cats always come in and wake me up about 4 in the morning, but I'm an early riser. I love to write. So that's a lot of part of my mindset is just it's clearing my head and writing and sharing. And A lot of the stuff I write about is something to encourage others and inspire others. It's lessons that I also like to remind myself of. I meditate. I listen to some wonderful YouTube meditations. Put my headset on, close my eyes. It's still dark in the morning. I don't turn lights on. I just put on the headset and close my eyes and do that for a while. And I'm really into my shaker plate. I love my shaker plate. It's just really great. And I'm listening to some biohacking and reverse aging gurus lately. They're saying how important, how good the shaker plate is. And we have a gym in our house, so I work out there when I do. I have to get back on that. And then I do put it on my calendar and I just go and I don't stop. I mean, usually my husband at the end of the night, it's like, you have to stop working.
It's hard to do. It's hard to do. So when does the book come out once again?
Yes, Mindset and Motion Method will be out, I would say, the end of January. I'm going to finish some editing rounds myself, pass it off to 2 people to do some editing. And you can go to mindsetandmotionbook.com to pre-order. And if you pre-order the book, I'll have your email. And so when the book does come out, I'm going to send you not only the book, but a free downloadable copy when it does come out.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, definitely, we're looking forward to that. And Debbi, thank you so much for coming on. I want you to have an epic day.
Thank you so much.
That have chosen
Take care.
a path. The who's, the whys, and the hows are being shared